Okay, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about something that I think goes really under the radar a lot, and that's Yu-Gi-Oh mentality. We talk a lot about with events, preparing for events or what to expect at an event, things like that, what decks maybe you should play. What we don't talk about enough is what's the mindset you're supposed to take into these things.
All right, so once you're at this event, once you've gotten prepared from watching all of our previous videos, you're now at this event and you're going through the rounds. You started the tournament. What's your mentality, when you're playing round and round?
Yeah, because when you're playing, a lot of stuff goes through your mind. It's easy to, get tilted. It's easy to, this and that. Yeah. So we have 5 different tips that we've got for you to kind of keep your mind in the right place, things to block out, things to keep in mind, all of that.
You got 5?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know.
Number 1, avoid the I'm going to drop at X2, I'm going to drop at X3 mentality. So you probably go to the most events out of all of us. How do you, I know, and you're also kind of the one who's most often playing through all the rounds too.
Yeah.
What's your, how do you feel about the whole I'm just dropping as soon as I lose too?
Well, with that, just straight up with that, first off, anybody that says that, I'm just gonna be honest. First off, when people say that, they've already lost confidence in themselves. I just want you to know that, and people say that they didn't and that they really don't care about the event. But first off, you're paying $20 to get into this event. So my thing is, I don't pay money to lose it. That's why I don't go to casinos. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you already have in your head, when I get X2 or X3, I'm dropping. That means you're okay with the fact that, I just got my butt kicked. Up 2 more losses and I'm gone. Part of you is salty about these losses, but at the same time, you've already psyched yourself up to understand that it's okay to lose. So you've already lost the confidence in yourself to believe that you can go further and continue. And I don't want to say I don't to harp on myself, but we just had YCS Dallas.
Yeah.
And I played through, and I was like X1, and I was like, oh man, it sucks, but I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
And so then by the time I got to X2, I'm like, I don't want to lose anymore, but I wasn't feeling down about it. I wasn't like, oh man, if I lose it one more time, I'm gonna drop out. I'm like, my mentality is I need to win out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like using it as motivation
right,
is a
exactly.
lot better than. And I get it. Sometimes these events just feel like, if I'm not topping, then it's not worth my time. I'm not getting my invite. But the thing is, like you said, that's a defeatist personality. But what's even worse is it can go from I don't really care if I lose to I want to lose.
Right. Just to be out of this.
You end up in these game 3 situations where it's your X2 is if I lose this, at least I'll get to leave. Don't view it like that, because then it's so easy to just. Because my thing throw games and things.
When it gets to that point, my only question that I would have to ask myself if I were to think that is, why did I come in the first place?
Right.
Why did I get up? Why did I stand in this long ass line? Why did I write on all these names on these cards on this piece of paper? And why did I give them my money just for me to say I really don't want to be here?
For sure. And and just as a small little extra bit, don't let your friends and all that stuff sort of dictate. Sometimes people are like, my whole group, they've all dropped and they're ready to go.
Right, so I'm going to drop too.
But if they're willing to wait for you, and most friend groups are.
Most friend groups, especially if you're doing well. Yeah,
if you're doing well, then, don't feel like you have this pressure to go so we can all go eat Whataburger. I mean, it's the event's more important. That's what you traveled here for.
You came in for the event. I mean, of course, the food's there. The food is fun. The camaraderie is fun. Your friends are fun. But most likely, these are the same people that you go to locals with. So you're gonna see these same bastards when you get back to the same city, because you probably rode together anyway.
Yeah, so they can wait. It'll be fine.
You're in no rush to get back to them. But
tip number 2.
What you got for me?
Don't just kind of take the I threw this deck together mentality into events. I see so many profiles after a regional where someone's like, I hated every time I saw this card. They'll be profiling a deck. I hated every time I saw it, or I never saw this card. And it's just kind of yes, that happens, but I also think that Yu-Gi-Oh players have this weird infatuation with the idea of being able to say, I just threw this together this morning. And it's because you heard some really good players say that. But but the truth is, though, I mean, I do think, with the first tip, there's a reason you came to this event. Mm-hmm. Don't completely blow it off. And I think sometimes people maybe do that so that when they lose, they can just say, I didn't can. I just threw this deck together. But I mean, you should, you traveled here. You paid money.
Yes, you paid money. And I don't like losing my money. And, and like I said, I'm pointing to myself because I am literally guilty of what he said as far as I just threw my deck together this morning or whatever scenario. But the only difference with me is that my mindset is completely different. I'm I'm not saying I just threw this deck together so it's okay that I lost. I'm saying I just threw this deck together and I'm surprised I'm actually doing as well as I did. That's my mentality. My mentality is I'm surprised that I'm doing well, but I'm glad that I am, and I'm going to ride it out.
I think that's actually a really good, healthy way to keep kind of positive reinforcement. Like, wow, I'm doing really well. Let's keep it up.
Right, let's keep it going. Let's see how far I can go with this. As opposed to I just threw it together. So if he beats me, he beat a half-made deck. Nah, damn, man, homie. Like you sitting in front of this dude, he's going to assume that you're one of the best players ever.
Yeah.
So you need to play like you need to pretend like it at least. You need to be ready for whatever.
Especially if you're a YouTuber.
And that does happen a lot. I don't know why that's intimidating, because whatever.
But yeah, I mean, in addition to that, accountability is important in anything that you do. Like if you lose and you want to say, oh well, he got lucky, or oh well, I wasn't trying anyway.
Right. I don't have this card.
I'm quitting this game now.
So no. Yeah, and he's right. If you know you're going to this event, you should be prepared in some kind of way. You should, like you say, don't just throw your deck together. I don't count because I'm trash. We're not even talking about me. Everybody knows I'm trash. But if you're gonna come to an event and you're actually gonna compete, you say you're not, but you're gonna compete. You should have your deck put together. You should have practiced. You should have at least, if not practice, at least go over it and make sure that you're comfortable with every decision that you've made before you turn that deck list in and start these rounds.
Tip 3 is fearing a certain matchup, and much like you might have been sort of guilty on the last tip, I am very guilty of this. So what I mean by fearing a certain matchup is, going into an event saying, if I face this deck, I suck against whatever deck, I suck against spirals. I'm just gonna lose every, like, it's not because you don't know how spirals work or that, you know how to face it. It's like you just personally think you can't beat this deck, and so anytime you face one, you tilt and you lose. My example is last format I played True Dracos, and funny enough, I was extremely confident against Zodiacs. I actually loved playing that matchup. It was a lot of fun for me. I actually won it a lot of the times. I felt like I really had that matchup figured out and I could go into it confidently. A deck I was not so confident against, Dinosaurs. I hated that deck. That deck tilted me. Actually, the mention of that deck tilted me. And so I would go into this, I went to like this one regional, it was the one in Shreveport. And the first 4 rounds, I faced Zodiacs. Beat all of them. It's like, great, I'm undefeated, I love facing this matchup, let's go. And then round 5 comes along, and it's like a dinosaur player. And like literally the first card he set on the board is like Soul Eating Overraptor, and I was just like, I actually get like triggered at that card, and it's just like, oh great, it's this matchup, I'm gonna lose this matchup. And so I end up like losing game 1 to some horrible misplay because I'm in my own head. And then game 2, it was another, like I was misplaying not because I didn't know what to do, but because like I'd already just told myself, I can't beat dinosaurs. This is just my worst matchup. I don't know how to face this. I don't know what to do.
Right.
You can't have that mentality in regionals. You're gonna face whatever deck you hate.
Most likely.
You'll face it. It's gonna show, or something that gives you trouble. It's gonna show up.
What are you gonna do about it? Like,
I think too many people like to just kind of use that as another one of those write-offs.
This is my worst matchup, so I'm gonna lose anyway.
Makes sense. That's how it goes. I mean, that doesn't. Sorry,
it's you gift. Does not mean that. So no.
And and finish that story. Not only did I lose to that deck, but like it just tilted me the rest of the day. Like after losing that matchup, I just went on to like lose everything else. I was like, I hated dinos. They ruined my streak. Ban that card, that type of mentality. And it really can mess you up. I mean, I didn't face another dino deck for the rest of the day, but because I was just tilted.
He was already psyched out. Yeah, it was over. And that actually leads us into our next one.
Yes. The next tip is view the matchups in a vacuum, right? Like every round is completely separate from the last round.
Different.
Completely separate from the next round. It's a different person. It's a different deck. Everything is different. Don't let, you know what I mean? Like maybe you just lost to Pendulum Magicians. Maybe you just lost to Spirals. And then you sit down for your next round and you play, oh great, another
one, yeah. That's everybody says, oh, it's another. I just played this deck.
You don't do that. That's really bad.
Play it again.
Yeah, like you gotta be better. Like it resets. Like when you sit down to play your next round, it's reset. Everything's it's a different person. It's almost like it's a different day.
Like I just forgot who my previous round opponent was because I'm now focused on this new round. So.
Yeah, and I mean that can even work in the inverse. Like don't just because you're on a streak doesn't mean that the next person you face is any worse. Like you know what I mean? Like sometimes people think like, well, I'm undefeated, so no one in this event can,
nobody's touching me.
It's like no, every person that you sit down to face can beat you. Like they could beat you if you make mistakes or if they play really well. So I just think that it's bad to go into things with the like mentality of the last match was bad, so this one will be too.
Yeah, this will be so. Yeah,
tilting and all that stuff.
I agree.
It's all very bad. And the final tip that's I think most important to remember, especially when you're in like pressure situations or when you're on the bubble, each tournament, like a given tournament does not define you, right? Like one tournament is not the career defining, point of everything in your life. It's not how it is.
Right.
And I think that people really get into that, like I said, when you're in the bubble, when you've got a crowd, or you have like expectations from your local shop or from the group that you're with to like, that you're supposed to do well and that type of thing. You gotta like push that all out, you know what I mean? Because it only like gets in your head, at least for me. I mean, how do you?
Actually, I was a victim of that at one point in my life. Because at my locals, I win quite a bit, I would say. But I do well in my locals, and so of course if you're beating people anywhere and they see you play anywhere else, they're gonna assume that you're gonna do well there too, or they're gonna want you to because you're whooping them too. So that was my thing, is that I do well in my locals, then I'd probably go to regionals, and I can't say I'd scrub out, but obviously I wouldn't get an invite, and my thing would be like, oh man, I didn't get the invite, so now I'm gonna be looked at as a scrub by the people from my locals, and I would get into that mentality as well.
Yeah, it happens.
And then after a while, I'm now at the new mentality that we're discussing today of I'm not trying to do this for them. I'm strictly doing it for me. I'm having fun. I'm sticking with the rounds. I'm sticking to what I know. If I don't get an invite, that's fine. There's another regionals coming up. I missed my invite to YCS Dallas, y'all, so I'm going to Shreveport. Kicking somebody's ass. I'm just letting you know.
And that's the thing. So, like, there's always another.
There's always another. There's always another
something
chance.
Next weekend. There's something in 2 weeks. Don't like let yourself get too psyched out over these things. I mean, similar to your situation, I feel like sometimes like I have personal expectations and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
There's also like, oh, like you're a Yu-Gi tuber, you must do really well at these events. Spoiler, no, I don't. But it's the honest truth of it is you kind of got to remember you're just playing for you. You're playing as like your own player,
right.
Your own Yu-Gi-Oh player. It's not for anyone else. It's not to fulfill any guidelines, expectations, things like that. You just kind of gotta like keep that in mind. And like I said, it gets harder, when you're in those later rounds, or you're on the bubble, or you're undefeated and stuff. Crowds are bad, definitely. I think crowd reaction, all that stuff. But being able to push that out is something that's worth.
Yeah, we're not saying it's not going to be stressful. We're just saying that your outlook on it will make it a lot easier for you. It really will. Being positive makes things a lot easier.
It really helps.
Like, it clears your mind, because it's like I said, as soon as you get negative and you're inside your own head, you beat yourself.
Yeah, and you can spiral. This, as in my example, you can really spiral like out of an event.
I see what
you can be
spiral out of the event. You get spirals out of the events.
Yeah. So this video is a quick fix to that.
See, you messed it up.
So yeah, those are our 5 tips for good Yu-Gi-Oh mentality. Obviously, this isn't like tomorrow you're gonna suddenly be perfect happy person and win every event. But it's stuff to work on. It's stuff to keep in mind. It's stuff that I don't think it's talked about enough. So, maybe next time, instead of worrying about what the best deck is or, just this and that, just kind of clear your head and think about how you're going to approach.
All right, what do you want to do? What are you trying to accomplish with your deck in front of you?
Yeah.
And use every opportunity as a learning experience. So if you lost the previous round to one deck and you have to play the exact same deck coming up, you know what the deck's capable of. Work your way around that. Be prepared.
So I have a challenge for you. In the comments section, leave one experience that you had. It could be either good or bad, where it was defined entirely by mentality. Nothing about, a matchup, nothing about a top deck. About strictly, I was positive about the situation and this worked, or I got tilted and lost.
Yeah.
Leave whatever situations happened to you. I might actually feature them in a video. I just think that'd be kind of cool. So
be honest with us. We like that.
Like, I mean, this happens to everyone. Like you heard in this video, we have these problems too, so it's okay to talk about it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We're Yu-Gi-Oh counselors.
Yes, I wish I had those glasses I wear. So, that's the video. Hope you guys liked it. Thumbs if you did. Subscribe. Hit the bell. You'll be notified of plenty of things. And I think that's going to be it. So, Reminder, we're going to be at the Shreveport, Louisiana Regional on December the 9th. You can meet us there. I think all of us are going to be there in some
Most likely, all of us
capacity.
should be at
good
the
luck with
Shreveport.
He's going to be at that one like hobby store. But yeah, so that's going to be it. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.